let's talk about the state of the quarter-century market. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So I pulled up, just to kind of, pull through at the beginning of this video, what your typical most expensive quarter centuries are, with kind of how things are going. I mean, Magia, Fuawas, Sky Striker cards, SP, the Blue Eyes cards in general. These are not the things that should surprise you. And also, the Pot of Greed from that collection, along with, current meta contenders like Malice. All right, these are your expected quarter centuries. But did you know, according to TCG Player right now, there's 1,064 quarter centuries. Add another 25 to that, and you're at, what is that, exactly 1,100? 1099, it's one of the two, depending on variants and things that you're looking at out here. We're done with quarter centuries. Once Alliance Insight touches and goes into full swing out here, they're done. All right, Alliance Insight's the last set. 25ths are done. We return back to Starlights out here. I've had a friend over the last couple of days that has been watching the quarter century market and making decisions on if he wanted to pick up certain staples in quarter century. And this was also, looking at certain cards dedicated to Sky Striker as well. Because right now we're experiencing some heavy buyouts on Sky Striker stuff. I'm sure some of you guys have paid attention to linkage over the last couple of days, and you just watched this thing. It just goes through the roof. All right. And we've been having, the alt-art rays have also been going up. I'm sure most of you guys saw a lot of these alt-arts out of this set have been going up crazily as well. There has been some discussion from people, and I just want to put this on the table here. At no point has Konami come out and said, oh, hey, this alt-art is exclusive to quarter century. They have not said that. I want to be very upfront and honest with you about this. While you're looking at these very shiny, very nice cards in this very, very luxury product, at no point has Konami said that they're exclusive to this. One thing a lot of people are kind of afraid right now with these alt-arts, especially with all these spike-ups of these happening, is you do have the Starlight market rebooting right now. All right, Konami said, hey, quarter centuries are done. We're returning back to good old Starlights at this point in time. And you got everybody over here going, ooh, me like Starlight. If you don't know, Starlight's also kind of changed their formula a little bit in Japan. There are some differences in them between original Starlights and new era Starlights. We won't know what our Starlights look like until our Battles of Legends set, but that's something else to think about out here. That we do not know if these arts are exclusive to this set and will not be reprinted. I highly doubt that's going to be the case. All jokes aside, you might have a Starlight only set in the future where Konami, cooks more of these cards or reprints these arts. 100% possible. All right, so keep that very, very close to you when you're looking at Diabell Stars and you're like, oh, this Diabell Star is $100. I want this. And, like 8-9 months into next year even, Konami announces a Starlight set and you watch this set, flush down the toilet. It's not going to be too surprising. Now, long term for some of these quarter centuries, with the threat of Starlights getting reprinted into the ground right now, and Konami just going, hey, we could just fire up the old printer. We can Starlight Imperm. We can Starlight the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We can, every staple that you have right now, we can just flush into the reprint binder and do its thing. That's not stopping the quarter century market from doing its thing right now, though. And I think that's the most impressive thing to me about this whole thing is, you have on the horizon a very, very big threat of Konami with destroying reprint equity on these. But the thing is, 25ths are never going to get reprinted. Once we're done here, that's it. You're not getting any more of these. So that would, in fact, probably protect all of the quarter centuries that currently exist out here. And even if they do reprint some of these arts in future sets, then you're protected, right? Because Konami said we're never reprinting quarter centuries again. There's also the joke about 30th rarity, which is going to look just like this, and it's going to do its thing. The important things to take away right now with the Starlight market. People are going to be picking these cards up for a very long time. I would say probably by the later half of the year. Once we get through national season and a lot of things like that, you are going to see things like the Malice cards crash down. You're going to see a lot of the current metagame big boys, they're going to take a backseat, and that's just to be expected. But things like Ash Blossom, Imperm, those core metagame staples, those are probably going to stick around at their higher values. I would probably say right now, you are probably at the height of quarter century madness. Because as we, venture further away from this set, people are going to do the, Starlights or quarter centuries are over. I don't really care about this. They're going to mosey on over to the Starlights, and they're going to start to pick these things up. Which is going to where our best friend in the whole wide world, the Invisible Hand, is going to start to come back in here. Because let's be very realistic here. 8, 9, 10 months down the line, you're going to be less inclined to look at these sets. We already barely look at Rarity 01 and Rarity 2 at this point. It's usually looking at Stampede a little bit less now, but the major thing that we care about right now has been Bonanza because it's the fresh flavor. And in fact, it has all of those alt arts in it. You have to pay attention to this. Now, once again, with Alliance Insight touching down out here, you're going to pay less attention to the quarter century market. Except for the people that are going to get their stuff, they're going to get out. They're never going to look back at this. All right? That's going to be a lot of the cases going forward here. It's going to be, oops, I picked these cards up, time to forget about them for a while. Or, I need some money, time to go sell these cards. All right? I do expect some rough turbulence, though, on some of these things. Long-term pickups, though, on things to really consider. I think Sky Striker has been one of the safest routes to pick up. I mean, we said that about the Alties. It did take them a very long time to crater those. You should have a little bit of reprint safeness in the alt arts for quarter century because I think most people are going to view it as the higher rarity. Even if they were to reprint things like the Zeus and these alt arts and Starlights, I think most people are going to consider the quarter century the highest rarity just because of the time frame that it's from. Also, as we get further away from this, things like Snatch Steal, that Battles of Legends set, I want to be very clear on this. That set is the biggest revolving door of buyout pressure that we see. It is frickin' nuts to see what that battle set does. Now, maybe as we advance further away from it and people kind of forget about it, then maybe we will see some drops. But holy shit, you want to talk about a set that is just constantly being knocked down and walked through. It's that set, man. Also, Archlord Christia, I do want to give a shout out to. I think this one might be a safe bet. I already see the Christias have already been pretty much wiped out. I mean, the Snatch Steal, it's those weird applications. Things from the Pot collection too, the Pot of Greed. Those aren't going to repopulate. Also, you do also have the rare niche things like certain Blue Eyes. Thank you, dear old Konami, for printing the Blue Eyes White Dragon in the Kaiba collection. That art is R.I.P. All right, every day as we go by, the Kaiba collection gets further and further away. That shit gets more and more expensive. It's freaking wild to see that. Who would have guessed? The Kaiba collection, the Pot collections have been going up as well. But we're done, everybody. This is it. This is your grand finale. All right, no more of these sets. It is highly anticipated Konami will print a Starlight equivalent set at some point. Yes, as Konami wants to cash in on the equity, but we're done. All right. My warning to you at the end of this is do not forget about quarter centuries. Pay attention to them. Get the things that you want sooner than later. It's going to be the case with a lot of this stuff. The sooner that you get these cards, the safer you will feel because you'll be like, hey, I got these. Or, you come back 6-7 months down the line after there's like a major repopulation of these. Or, they're just wiped out. I don't know how fast these sorts of things will return. I don't know how, quick these things will come back, but that's where I am right now. So what do you guys think about the quarter century market? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. See your beautiful faces back here in day, guys.
Patrons, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.